Yeah, you have a quorum.
Yeah, we do. Okay. Is it 6 o'clock?
Yep.
All right, well, let's start. So this is the February 22nd, 2023 meeting of the Village of Millbrook Board of Trustees, our first budget meeting for the new fiscal year. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, for those on YouTube, just know that if you want to see the charts we'll be going through, just go to the Village of Millbrook website. And on the top right, there's a bar for agendas and minutes. Click on that. And the next thing you'll see is a screen with a bar for the meeting docs. Just click on that. Hang on. Hey, Pat, Tim. Good. You know about the meeting tonight, right? Oh, geez, we have a budget meeting tonight. It starts now. That's fine. Yeah, we'll start without you, but I'll make sure we go back with you over the end, right? Thanks. I don't know. I think maybe I didn't do enough to notify you guys, so thanks a lot.
Minors are always good.
Yeah, bye. Okay, so Pat will be here about 20 minutes, and Peter had told me that he can't make it, so we have a quorum. So can we take a roll call?
Yep. Mayor Colby?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Contino?
Here.
Trustee Herzog?
Here.
Trustee Doro is absent. And Trustee Murphy is
In and out.
absent for now.
For now, right? Okay, this is the first of our 4 to 6 budget meetings. They're scheduled. These are all open meetings available to the public. They're all being broadcast by YouTube and posted the following day on our website. Now we're just covering water and sewer. And the schedule, I think, is in the meeting package.
Yep.
Right? And so next Wednesday, we'll be covering police and highway.
Yep.
Okay. So before we get into the budget, let me just say that we've got some good news. Deputy Mayor Contino and I went and talked to representatives from the offices of State Senator Hitchie, Assemblyperson Barrett, and Congressman Ryan, and went to them and made a plea for financial help to pay for the sewer pump station that we're looking to replace in South Millbrook. And both Senator Hitchie's office and Assemblyperson Barrett's office have come back and said that they're willing to go forward for half of the expected $250,000 cost together. So we each go for $125,000. And so we just submitted today the applications to them to start that process. And again, there's no commitment yet, but they've certainly responded quite quickly to us and are willing to go forward and do what they can to try to get us what could be full funding for the replacement of the sewer pump as well as the installation of a generator at that location, which is dearly needed. So we're very happy about that, and we'll keep working that process to bring it to fruition. Any questions or comments about that?
It's a quick question.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're aware of it, and there's something that we put forth, but they're very aware that that's going to be basically a park. It's going to be an open park available to all Dutchess County residents, and has already been put on a land conservancy, so nothing else can get built there. So this is, adding to what would be a public park. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to be just doing this for our own residents and town residents. It's going to be for anybody who wants to use the park facility. So
well, yeah, but this is going to be a special. This is going to replace the sewer pump station that's there right now. And one of the hoops we had to jump through was to find the deed that of the property that designated that the Village of Millbrook has an easement for where the sewer line goes and where the sewer pump station is located that allows us to have access to it. And it took us some gyrations to get there, but we did, and that's now been made available.
Yeah,
And I
no,
gave a copy to Scott, so he's got it for his records.
yeah, no, my point,
Yeah, good, thank you.
yeah, no, my point was that they should have more ammunition to be able to get this done, because this is not just for one municipality, this is gonna help all county residents who want to use
Oh, you mean the park, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
the park,
okay.
and the park, and the county helped us and our area by helping with a grant to be able to make it a land conservancy area, so it can be used for those purposes, so it's really a joint effort, and if they phrase that properly when they do their earmark, it looks like it should be,
Well, actually, so we just submitted today the initial application, and they'll come back with a more thorough application later, which they will help us get through. So, yeah, we'll be part and parcel of that justification.
perfect, so we can add those kind of embellishments
Sure.
that they haven't, just for the sake of not just clarity, but for a stronger application.
All right, good. All right, fine. Okay, so now we're going to go through line item by line item of the requested funds from the water and sewer folks from BRI. And Scott's here to take us through that. We're going to do the same thing we did last year, which is basically Scott goes through line by line item. And as we go through the line, we discuss it and either update it or take his number as what we propose for the approved budget. All right, so Scott, go ahead.
Start with the water, right?
Yeah, start with water, please.
All right.
Actually, let me just take it. The first line item is unallocated insurance, all right? And so, I can't see you over there. But anyway, what we got there is a change in the allocation. So you requested $12,000 based on looking at the current year number and raising it.
Right.
What we're going to do for this budget is we're going to use the new allocation we got from Mary Vittori at Marshall and Sterling. It says when you reallocate according to the contracts, the cost of insurance for the water was only $52.95 this year.
Okay.
And so what we'll do is, I've asked Mary for what's the estimated increase in insurance for the next fiscal year. She hasn't gotten back to me yet. For tonight's discussion, I'd like to just add 10% to what number we figured from last year. So in other words, instead of the $12,000, Karen, can we just put 10% on top of the $52.95 that we used for this fiscal year?
Okay.
I mean, we'll make an estimate. It's called $530. Just make it $5,800, something like that. That make sense?
Yep.
Okay, Scott. The rest is yours. But we'll do the same thing in sewer, by the way.
Okay. All right. So next we have capital improvements.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 66,138 listed improvements that like we do every year. Fire hydrants. I've got 5 listed plus the purchase of 4 additional.
All right, so wait, so you're saying for capital improvements, that's installation of 5?
Installation of 5, and a purchase of 4.
All right.
And I have also purchase of a couple new water valves and water valve replacement.
I think in the package, that detail's in there, right?
I don't have that. I have
Is that the sheet here?
That's the general one I do. My worksheet, when I had all the detailed in for you there.
Okay, fine.
But those are things that I have on my list
Mm-hmm.
of things I'd like to try to accomplish in this budget year.
All right, so tell me again, the new fire plugs, what was the second category?
Purchase of 4 additional. We have
Yep.
4 in stock already, but with the delay in getting them, I like to, because some I purchased, like, it takes like 8 months.
Yeah, okay, fine. All right.
So I was trying to, that way we have some, if something ever happened, we have one, at least 1 or 2 sitting there to replace if
Sure.
something happens to one. Plus that way if I have them, then we can just schedule work and keep going instead of waiting for them to come in.
All right, good.
Then I also have purchase of 2 6-inch valves. Because sometimes we have to replace the valve with the hydrant, sometimes we don't, depending on the condition of it.
All right.
So that way we have it there if
Okay.
we need to. And I'd like to, well, I thought at one point he was mentioned that Washington Avenue might be done this year. So I was
Yeah,
gonna-
it's still up in the air.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was gonna budget to replace it. There's a valve down right at the corner here. I wanna do that hydrant,
Okay.
and I wanted to do the valve there as well. So I have that on the list there.
Yeah, but that reflects also the fact that we had talked about doing a reservoir on the other end as well.
Right. Yeah, Reservoir, the valves, well, one's on Church Street, and then the two up at the other end by Maple, they all work fine.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Are you planning on, what about the valves on Franklin? If we can get to pouring concrete on the south side.
Well, that I have planning to do under this budget.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
My goal is to get it done before June.
Excellent. Okay, good.
If not, that's, that'll be, whatever we don't get done. The hydrant by the funeral home, I'm hoping to have done on this current budget, because I think I still have some left.
All right.
So I'm hoping to get some of that stuff done.
So in your number of 66,000, how much has been covered by what you just discussed so far?
Probably about 50, almost 50,000. Because I also have, which I didn't get to this year, and I don't think I'm going to, is on Maple Avenue, where the water line comes up from Franklin down the backside.
Mm-hmm.
There's two valves that split that go down, up and down Maple. When we had the leak on 9 Partners last year, I had trouble getting that isolated, so the guys ended up having to do it live. So I wanted to put a valve on the line that goes out towards the water treatment plant.
Oh, okay.
So that one's similar to the valve we put up at the storage tank where they do it live, so you don't have to shut water off. So I put that in again. I had it in last year's budget. We didn't get to it. I don't think I'm gonna, because I want to get those valves on Franklin done, the curb. I want to focus on that. So I put it in this budget again. If we don't get to it,
Okay, fine.
or if we need to take it out, we can take it out. So
All right.
I had budgeted 17,000 for that. It might be a little less. The one at the storage tank was about 13, and that was a couple years ago.
Okay.
So
All right, so that should get you to the 66,000.
right.
All right. Questions about that?
No?
All right, go ahead.
All right. Next.
So basically, Karen, we'll go with the number you the 66,138.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
All right, next is the administration costs.
Mm-hmm.
Covers the operations from VRI, the water billing on the water side, the health department permit, Blackboard, which is split between water and sewer,
Mm-hmm.
and census tech support, which is also split between water and
Well,
sewer.
what's census tech support?
That's the support for the metering company.
Oh, okay.
So if you remember, a few years ago, we had problems with their reading equipment, and they can't repair it because we didn't, and we couldn't get any help
Oh,
because we didn't have tech support, so
Okay.
they wouldn't help us.
all
We had to
right.
go all buy all new stuff. So we have that, and we keep up with it. So if there's ever a problem or a little problems, we've had some issues, and you call them up and they'll help you.
Okay, fine.
Plus, if you have the tech support, you keep it up when you go to get new equipment, or if you want to upgrade, it's a little bit less.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's what that's for.
All right.
That's split between water and sewer.
And then plus there's a 6% increase in the,
I have it, in my numbers, I put it at 7, because I believe currently it's 6.5.
well, actually, the memo I got from Joe it said 6%.
Okay, so then,
But he gave me the actual numbers.
okay, so I didn't, when I did it back
Okay,
in
fine.
January, and then I think it was 2 weeks ago, I looked and it was like 6.5%.
Yeah, okay.
So that had been coming down. So I used 7 just to be conservative.
All right.
So if you want 6, I'd have to recalculate.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, I went and looked and saw, what was the verbatim cost based on the 6% increase to the current numbers,
Yeah.
but then didn't recognize that you have other things like Blackboard, like the census support, whatever.
Right.
Are there other things that
All
might
listed.
come up that we should just leave a little buffer in there?
think that's pretty much everything that's under administration. The only other, and I don't think we're going to have this on the water side, but sometimes engineering stuff we put in there.
Oh,
I
you're
know,
right.
like,
Right. Actually, this year there's a bill from Delaware in there.
yeah, I know. Like on the sewer side, we put the. I believe we do. I have to look the I-9 report in administration.
Yep, that's right. So I guess,
And then on the water side, I don't. But, so.
unless anyone objects, I'd rather there be a little buffer in there, just so we don't get surprised by something and find ourselves looking for where to go get that money. All right. 9.5% is what? It's about $1,000. Oh, that's not that much. Yeah, I'd rather just leave it. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so Thorndale is on the chart. We'll talk about Thorndale afterwards. Can we do that? Sarah, Karen, does that make sense?
Yes.
So we have this issue with Thorndale, which I'll discuss for the public record, and how we're going to budget that. That's a function of Karen and Sarah's analysis of the revenue to date. So let's hold that off until the end.
All right.
All right.
So next would be chemicals.
Yep.
Pretty much everything we use there. Chlorine, orthophosphate for corrosion control, and caustic soda also for corrosion control. Those are the three chemicals we use. As with most everything, the cost of chemicals has gone up.
That's not much of an increase. I mean, so you're
No, but I over the year I keep tabs on how much we use.
okay.
So that's what I go, and I think I've got it going back almost 7 years now. So I try to get like an average.
All right.
Because like last year was one of the higher years of chemical usage because the water usage went up.
Oh, okay.
Whereas now, probably for the last month, we've been slowly dialing everything back because the usage is going down.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, usually it's the water quality and stuff, so the pH is going up, so then I got to back off the chemicals. So
All right.
it fluctuates.
All right. So your year-to-date expenditure is $25,500. You're on target to make the year-end number
It
29.6.
should be, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Except that we got 3 months.
3 months. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
based on our cutting back on our chemicals, I won't have to probably order any until sometime middle of next month.
All right, fine. All right. So the 30,170 is a good
Fine,
number.
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
And next we got laboratory, which is all the testing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gone down this year. Two reasons. One, last year we had a sample for SOC, which is pesticides and herbicides, which is every 3 years we got a test for that, and that's like $800 to do that.
All right, fine. So you don't need
So
to do
that's,
that
we
every
don't have to do that this year.
All right, good.
And we've also started using a new lab, which could cost us slightly less on certain things. So the cost that we have this year has
Good.
gone down some.
All right, fine. Go ahead.
We've got the contractual stuff. So that it includes the alarm company, security, fire extinguisher servicing, Dig Safely New York, which is for markouts and such.
Okay.
Diamond maps, so we keep up with that.
Okay.
Raw water dues. And yeah, so
All right, good.
those are, I got all that stuff over the years. Nicole sent me a whole list, so we calculated that out.
Okay.
So that's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we have utilities.
So that jumped quite a bit. That's
It's
just based
jumped a
on
lot,
actuals.
yeah. And last year, I underestimated it, so and then the costs have still gone up. Plus, with the higher usage, the electric goes up because you're pumping.
Sure.
So,
All right.
so that's going on.
So you're comfortable with the 16.5? You're not gonna. It's not gonna underestimate.
I don't believe so.
All right, fine.
I've got a little bit of a buffer in there.
Okay.
And the next is the fuel for the generator,
Mm-hmm.
which we haven't had the first payment for this year, so we haven't expended any, so I left that the same just to cover, for any, I think to fill it up, it's probably like $600.
Okay.
We still have like 80% of the tank left in there, so.
All right.
And then we've got the equipment and supplies.
So you drop that down?
Drop that down. What I found, again, that's a line we started I think, a couple years ago, so I'm still doing all this. But what I found is some of the stuff that I had listed under there is actually repair parts. So I've been trying to get better and break it down further so I can, hone in on the numbers better.
All right, good.
So that's come down
All right.
on that end. Then I have repairs and maintenance
So year to date, you only spent 18,000. Why is that? Against a budget of 51.8?
on the repairs and maintenance.
Yeah.
Because I budget for, you're gonna jinx me, but I budget for water leaks.
Oh. Okay.
That's
And knock
good.
on wood, I don't have any.
Spring is coming.
I know I'm doing tomorrow. But yeah, so and that's something that, is unpredictable.
Okay.
So I do the best we can. I keep track of how many leaks we have over the years, so I try to budget for that.
How many
Best we
leaks
can.
is $18,000 year to date? I guess they're all different though.
Yeah, well, like I have it broken down as far as service line leaks, which are a little bit less repair costs than water main breaks, but I budgeted for 3 main breaks and 5 service line leaks for a total of like $36,000. But again, if you don't have that, there's, right? We need to have it in there.
Yeah, sure. I
They're
understand.
gonna happen. It's
Okay.
a matter of when.
All right.
And I also put in stuff like sometimes I budget for, I did this year, but for hydrant maintenance. But since we've been replacing them, we haven't been doing any maintenance on this.
All right.
And I also have put in my repair parts into that from the equipment.
All right.
Repair parts being parts we use to fix water lines or curb boxes or stuff like that.
Okay.
Do you have any current numbers that you may have looked at in terms of percentage of hydrants we've got left to change out?
Yeah, I have that in my other folder for the
Okay.
regular meeting, but off the top of my head, I think it's like 35 out of 86 hydrants.
Is that right?
Something like that.
All right. Will you send an email with that, with those numbers?
Yeah,
Just so I get that for
like
everybody?
I said, I always have my other folder because sometimes it comes up.
No, that's fine. I think it'd be good for us to see that.
Yeah, because I keep track of all that.
All right.
But it's roughly 86 total, about 35 left in there. I'll get those checked.
Yeah, 'cause that goes into how much if it's possible that you end up with a very good year for leaks, and if it's possible to say,
Exactly.
let's take care of a few more hydrants if we can order them and they're not prohibitively expensive, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. All right. The next ones are the bands. Actually, these are bonds, right?
I think one's a bit, I think Bedrock is a bond, right? And the other one's a band.
Well, there's 2 bands and there's a bond, right?
But my question is, are you planning to roll them over into long-term debt soon? Like we should have done it last year.
I think my answer is no. I don't want to do it until we have to.
Okay.
I'd like to
I think
pay
it's 2026, right? I believe 2026.
for 2025, one of those 2.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's 2025 because I think the last payment on the Bedrock well is 2025, and
Okay, got it.
and the first time we need to convert the first band to a bond is also 2025,
Okay.
which is why we're going to think about saving about $60,000 to make that payment. It'll be a double payment.
This record says the band 1 is 2026.
This is a pain I can't see. You need to move this terminal.
Oh, wait.
Can't
Sorry.
say anyway.
Yeah, you can't read anyway. Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to be talking that much.
Yeah. Nice try.
So water treatment plant ban 1, the 550,000
Yeah,
is matures 12/17/2026, according to this record. And then water treatment plant ban 2 for the 200,000 is November 10th, 2027.
sorry, Pat, I should have sent out,
That's
for
okay.
the new kid on the block, I should have sent an extra notice or something.
That's okay. I'm sorry.
Bedrock's 2026.
I feel bad about this.
No, that's all right. Don't worry about it. It's all right. I'm sorry for not knowing.
So, Mike, could you just show Pat where we're at?
We're to this point right here.
Okay.
And
We're going through the water line.
We're talking about the band and bands that we currently have and when they convert,
So when this
would be converted to bonds.
So 26,
So we're right here at this point.
All right, so Sarah, say again, when do we need
All
to
right.
convert the $500,000?
Bedrock. Bedrock is December of 2026.
Is the last payment.
That's maturity date.
Yeah, last.
All right,
And water treatment plant ban 1, the 550,000 is also December of 2026.
so that, oh wait, I want to make sure.
Yeah,
Is that
it-
up to speed?
the 26-27 fiscal year is when the one comes off, and then we can roll the other one over into long-term debt.
Okay, fine.
So that one.
Okay.
So is that the year of two
Yeah, because
payments?
12-26, if the year starts June of 26, to
Right.
26-27 will be the fiscal year.
Okay, so it's in 12/26 that the 550 band gonna be converted to a bond.
Right.
And then the last one, the $200,000 band has to be converted to a bond.
A year.
November 2027.
But you might
3.7.
want to, I guess, depending what the rate is, you might want to do them both.
Oh, yeah, at that time, we
If
can
it
look at
comes
it,
down.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so it's important then to know that the bedrock well pays off on December of 2026, but that's also the time we need to convert the 550 to a bond.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you this, are those band interest estimates good, or are they gonna go up,
Well,
given
it's,
current rates? Because we
Oh.
refinance these every year, right?
Yeah, and they'll give us a different rate.
Look at us, what?
They may give us a different rate.
Right, and won't it be significantly higher than what we've been paying?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's
We don't know.
significantly lower.
Can you,
well, I don't think it'll be lower, but, because
Nope.
it's pretty good at 0.85, the 550 right now. But we should probably find that out and
so can we
adjust.
contact the bank and ask them what
Yeah.
they think the refinance rate's gonna be when it comes up? When is that gonna be like?
In 2026?
Yeah.
No,
No, for this year,
Oh, for this year?
yeah.
Yeah, I could see what they say.
Yeah, could you? I'd like to get a number that's realistic, I don't wanna be surprised a year from now when we go to pay it and we find out it's 3 times whatever we estimate.
Yeah.
And so you do that for both of those bands?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so put question marks by the $10,000 for the band 1 interest and the $2,000 for the band 2 interest. So just say again, for Pat's edification, we have 2 bands that we haven't converted to bonds yet because we can't afford it on the water treatment up there. One's for 550,000, the other's for 200,000. That's a band 1, band 2. And then the principal bedrock well is a $500,000 10-year bond that we're paying off.
Okay.
And that'll pay off by December of 2026. All right. So that's fixed. The 50,000 and the 6250, that's a fixed number. But the interest rates on the bands are TBD. Okay, so then the final thing you got there on water expenses is the transfers to capital budget. That's the
That's what we budget to
The re-
transfer into capital projects.
okay.
I think we can start there, and then however you need to balance, we can
Yeah, we can adjust it.
increase it
All
or
right, fine.
decrease it.
All right, any questions about the expenses for the water? Should we talk about revenue now, or do you want to go on to expenses for sewer first?
It's up to you.
Well, let's do revenue.
Okay, for water.
Now, actually, before you do, let me just tell say to everyone this story we have about Thorndale.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. And Scott, you help me out with the details here, but a few months ago, I guess there was a leak at the Thorndale farm.
Well, there was
Not a leak, the meter.
Yeah,
The
they
meter
were
was
on-
acting up.
They suspected there was a leak based on water use,
Okay.
and they had a leak service company out there. Spent a number of hours out looking at everything, checking the meter, calling me, going through everything. They got to the point where they did a bucket test and tested the meter was accurate based on 5 gallons.
Mhm.
And they basically couldn't figure out what was going on, so I had them read me the numbers on there, and I was looking at everything, and it seemed to me that it was off by a 0. So in other words, an extra 1,000.
Right. So what we found out is that since 2015, when the meter was last replaced, because of a clerical error back at the office, the meter was designated as one that reads in 10,000 gallon units, when in fact it's reading in 1,000 gallon units. And you have both kinds of meters.
Well, we used to.
Oh,
right?
used to,
So
okay.
going back decades, the
Okay.
meters, there was one that read in cubic feet. All the larger meters, anything over like an inch and a half or up, read in 10,000 gallon units, and all the smaller meters, like in everybody's house, read in 1,000 gallon units. So when we started this whole meter upgrade in 2012, made the decision that, well, we got to change all of them anyway. Let's make sure everything's on the same page. So there's no confusion, because the cubic feet one really threw about
Sure,
the
I'll bet.
conversion, so everything went, all the meters were programmed to read in 1,000 gallon units, and that particular meter is the only one that did get changed in the computer system.
Okay.
Because the meter is right, and they all got changed, but in the computer system, you also have to change how it
What kind of
inputs
meter
the
it is
data.
and what to read.
The
Yeah.
dials and the multipliers.
Yeah, you know.
So the problem is, since 2015, we've been billing Thorndale Farms 10 times what they should have been billed. And the cumulative effect is that is they were overcharged $44,000. It's actually $43,754 over those past 8 or 9 years, whatever, 7 years, I guess it is. And so it's money that was paid to the village of Millbrook, which is why we need to make good on that. And they've asked us to make payment back to them in 2 payments, half this year, and by April 15th of this year, and remaining by April 15th of next year, with a 3% interest on the second payment. And so I've gotten VRI's commitment to cover the interest for the second year's payment, as well as to give the village a up to 6 month 0 interest loan in the event that we don't have sufficient funds by those April 15th dates to make the payment. All right. So that was the agreement that we had, and Thorndale is willing to accept that. And then another question is to Sarah and Karen, what wherewithal do we have from a revenue point of view to make those payments? Okay, so now I want you to talk about your analysis of the revenues.
Okay. So, okay, so we do like an analysis towards the end of the year for the revenue. So we estimate, so if you look at the bottom of the screen, this is the current year that we're in. These are the billings. April to May 31st is an estimate based on 2/3 of the prior bills. So that's kind of what we use for estimating our revenue. So Sarah and I went like one step further to do like a cash projection to see where we are.
Okay.
So if we took our cash at the end of January, we took our estimated billing that's coming up. We are going to be paying the re-levy that we get from Dutchess County back to unpaid water and unpaid sewer, which is quite high this year because of COVID. We did not add it to their taxes
For the past couple of
for
years.
the past
yeah.
couple of years.
Okay.
So it's not always 39,000 and 41,000, but this year it is. So we're kind of estimating at 531 to have like 150,000. We're kind of estimating expenses in the water fund to be about 84,000 through there. So we kind of, it'd be tight. We could do all of the Thorndale. If the board wanted to pay that and get that out of the way, we could do that. It would be tight. We do have 20,000 in New York class and investments. So if we had to pull that, we could in like January or in June and July to pay the bills if we needed to.
Okay.
So certainly up to you. I think we should kind of go back and continue with the budget and let you decide if you
Well, one
think.
question I have for Scott is, are you expecting any any unexpected expenses? No, any, so she took the expenses to date that you've incurred and kind of prorated it for the rest of the year.
Right.
Is that acceptable to you, or do you think there's anything going on towards the back end of the fiscal year that's above and beyond what your rate has been so far?
Well, like I said, I want to get to the Franklin Avenue valves under this budget. I don't know when the sidewalk's going in, but I'd sure like to start long before June.
Yeah, okay.
So we're not,
Impacting the schedule, but yeah, sure.
Like
how much of those-
I don't know what that's. I know what I have to do.
What's it going to cost?
I don't know until you dig it up. Excuse me. What we're gonna find. My plan is to replace everything there because you're gonna put a sidewalk on it. And might as well have a sidewalk on the ground.
Yeah, good.
So it's probably gonna be when I put these service lines. Maybe 15 or 20,000. Possibly. Again, it's hard. I mean, I didn't run the numbers on that, but it's in the repair slot. I got.
Yeah.
There's money there. That's where it's got to come out of.
There's sure a lot of money there.
Yep. But
This
again,
comes down to this
like
risk
I
of
said,
if there's a water, yeah.
there we go. There's going to be one now.
Yeah. I mean,
Industry standard.
it may be better to break it up into two than
Okay, fine.
just
Be safer to pay it.
to be safe.
Okay.
And then we'll just have to tighten up the 23-24 budget that we are working on.
All right, so then that comes back to the line item up on the top, fourth from the top, the Thorndale refund. This is the budget for next fiscal year, which would be the payment we make April 15th of 2024.
Right.
And so we should have a number in there now. The number is 43,754, so I don't want to nitpick, but that's going to be 22,000, not 23,000. Right?
I'm sorry, 20.
So the total number is $43,755.
Okay,
So let's just put 22,000 in there.
very good.
Okay. And again, that's the payment that we would make April 15th of next year.
Correct.
And based on your analysis, we have money to pay this year, April 15th of 2023,
Yes,
the first 22,000.
yes.
Okay. All right, fine. Any questions about that? All right, so now if you roll it all up, well, no, have I heard you say what you expect the revenue to be for next year for the water?
So, based on the analysis that we did, we're looking at the, let me just get back up. We're looking at this 337 for water and this 301 for sewer. So if I go back to the chart, we'll plug in this 337 450. 500. So if the interest, it looks like we can go up a little on that. It looks like you know, the last 2 years, it's been like 2,600 and 3,100, and that is also on the money that comes back from the county, so I
Oh.
think I think we're good to maybe do 2,500 on that.
Okay.
We're earning a little more interest, so I think we can go up on those. Then I guess my question is, because, so the New York class is housing our $250,000 right now.
Well, that's the sewer.
Okay,
That's sewer.
this is 20,000.
Yes,
for
that's
water,
20,000 for class.
So, I don't know, we probably can go up to 500 on that.
Okay. So what's that give you the total expected revenue for next year?
341,000,
341,000?
yeah, 100.
All right, so we've got a $40,000 shortage in revenue versus the, oh no, I'm sorry. What is the summation of the expenses with all the changes that we made? I can't read it off of the screen here.
Well, we also don't have the interest.
That's
Right.
true. Okay.
We question mark those.
Yeah.
I mean, from,
I
unless
mean,
you want
we-
to put
we-
what we had last year.
We estimated what we had last year, but it probably will be higher. So so it's 373,966, 373,966, and we have 341,100 for revenue.
So we're off by 32,000, 33,000. Okay.
So, and based on our actual for 22, 23, and 21, 22, I kind of hesitate to go any higher than that
On your revenues?
on our revenue.
Yeah, okay. What is it gonna be? All right, so then we need to cut 32,000 out of the budget.
I guess we can take out our transfer to capital for starters.
Or what? Transfer? Oh,
Yeah, the 5,000.
Okay.
So there goes that.
Mm-hmm. So that gives us the 27K. Well, Scott, the only thing I see is having leverage with is your repair maintenance line and your capital improvement line, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It's usually,
That's where we're going to cut. Yeah.
yeah.
I know it reduces the amount of fire plugs you can purchase and things like that, but from a budget point of view, we got to do something. What do you recommend we do? Take half out of each?
Probably sensible.
Huh?
That's probably sensible.
So half out of repairs and maintenance and half out of what?
Out of water capital improvements at the top there,
What's that? Half of what? What did you say? 27?
27. Yeah, take 13 out of each.
Yeah, each.
13.5 out of each. Pat, what Scott described as the water capital improvement is he wants to get 4 new fire plugs. He wants to install 5 plugs he's got. He wants to replace some valves in a variety of places, including where we might be doing repaving of roads.
Yeah.
So a variety of things he's got going on there.
Yeah.
All right.
That comes out of water capital improvement.
Yeah. So I'm saying we will just cut that down.
So minus 13.5.
Yeah.
So are you? I'm sorry. Did you make a motion for the phone bill?
For what?
For the
Oh, should I do
gonna
that? Oh, I probably should do that. Okay. So let me make a motion that we put in place a plan to repay the $43,755 that was overcharged Thorndale Farm in 2 payments, one by 4/15 of 2023, the first payment $22,000, and the second payment completing what's owed to them by April 15th of 2024. It'll include 3% interest on the second payment, which will be covered by VRI. I'll make a motion, make it a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so, while you were doing that, I removed the 1350 from those two line items,
So can you tell us what those numbers are now?
341,996.
No. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that
what
line.
does the capital improvement line say now?
Capital improvement line is 52,638,
Okay.
and the repair maintenance is 39,186.
Scott, you okay with that? I know you're not okay with that, but I mean, can you live
Well-
with that?
Just think, well, because, like I said, I budgeted for that valve on Maple at 17,000, so if I took that out, that's not a necessity.
Okay.
That would be out of capital improvements, which would cut that to,
So you'd rather do that as opposed to take the full
yeah, because
15,000?
you're going down 39,000 on repairs, like we've said multiple times tonight.
Yeah.
If something happens.
Okay.
Rather than the money in the repairs then.
Yeah, I mean, the capital improvements are, I mean, they're not things we have to do.
But they're emergency things, I understand.
Right.
Things we should do.
So if I took the 17,000 out of that,
All right, so he's recommended that we change these numbers.
or
So
we can, take a little less out of the,
all right, so what numbers do you want to go in with capital improvement and with the repairs and maintenance?
what we did, bear with me,
Sure.
that sounds better than
Oh.
that. It is only 16. I was thinking 15 out capital improvements, which would bring me with what out of? About 11. Just 27.
So 15, so if you did 15 out of capital, then there would be 12,866 left,
To take out of repairs and maintenance.
right? Do you want to do that, or you want to go 17 on the capital and less out of repair?
Yeah, let's do the 17.
17 out of capital improvements.
Yeah.
So what's the new number in?
So
Yeah, she's working right now, so 49,000.
Yeah, 49,138.
And what number fits to make the water repair and maintenance?
Forty-one. Let's see, 41,820.
And that gives you then a total expense of what?
$341,100.
Okay, fine.
Oh, this total expense here was $341,100.
Okay, so the only alternative we have is to raise the water rates. Okay, so I guess the question is, Scott, can you live with these numbers, you think?
Sure.
Okay,
What, before we do that?
Yeah.
What is the current water rate now is what has per thousand gallons?
I think it's like 725.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we figure in something for the cost of living increase? I mean, we're are, right now, the CPI is close to 6%. So to keep it absolutely flat is not really realistic in that sense. I mean, if it was lower, if it was 1 or 2%, yes, but to not increase the water, we've run into this problem before.
I know.
You know, we try to be so close every year, and then suddenly, like 5 years, we end up with a 10% increase, and that's really, I don't think, wise. If it's a relatively moderate increase, I think it's far more acceptable to the general public than getting whacked with something. So
your utilities go up, and they've gone up significantly recently. Chemicals always go up.
Sure.
I get letters every quarter, it seems, on some kind of chemical price going up. So those things are constantly moving up, but yet there's nothing else moving up on the revenue side. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we've been increasing the water and sewer rates, but not in a consistent fashion.
Correct.
What is the history of that? Do you know? Last thing I think we raised was the sewer rate.
Correct.
And that was that last year?
I believe so. I'm trying
Did
to
one
pull
of them
up this
last
stuff
year.
here.
I think it was sewer last year. And I think the year before we
year
did
before
water.
we did water, but we did the water the year before, it was a huge jump.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah, like Mike is saying, you know, if you raise it $1 per thousand every so many years, it's a big jump at one point,
Sure.
as opposed to raising it
5% or something, yeah.
quarter, 25 cents per thousand, or 10 cents, whatever. So that smaller increase equates to, as opposed to say a $100 increase on your bill to a $5 increase on your bill. You know,
All right, so look, well, to balance what he proposed would be a 10% increase. We've negotiated down to a 0% increase, and the question is, he's taken some risk with his repairs and maintenance, and maybe we should just cut that in half.
make it a 5% increase.
Make it a
in water
5%
rate.
increase, and just recover half of those reductions you just took. What about that?
what is the 5% increase equate to?
Well, that would be $17,000 added back in.
What does that equate to, like, your
It's like
your rate increase?
36 cents.
36
You know what?
I believe it's like 36
Yeah,
cents.
if the rate is $7.25, it'd be
Right.
36, sure. You know, 36 cents on 1,000 gallons.
All right, say the cost of utilities start going back down, do we adjust back down? Politics right there.
Yeah, I've never had that happen.
Politics.
Well,
I mean,
I think your system's always aging, and there's always repairs and.
And as a reminder, anybody who doesn't know, the system is 90 years old.
Yeah, okay.
Not all the components, since we've been doing hydrants and stuff, but the pipes are,
Mhm.
not all, but a lot of it, valves and such. It's hard to replace everything in one shot. Even, so
Yeah,
you
sure.
try to do a little bit each year as best you can.
Yeah, if we figure in, I think the plan that I've loved for the past 11 years, that every time we pave a road, we look at the water meters, we look at the hydrants, we look at all of those, and when the blacktop is milled or whatever's done, we replace it then, so when we do the blacktop repairs, those have a shelf life that's gonna be intact for a long time, as opposed to waiting for a leak or waiting for a broken meter and then paving, making a.
But go back to Pat's point, I guess the answer to you, Pat, is we do balance the budget every year. So we only go for as much revenue as we need to cover the expenses as proposed. I've never been in this seat to see the expenses come in, down, right, go down from year to year, for the reasons you just cited. So hypothetically, I guess, if it did happen, yeah, we would, because we don't look to make money in this and cut it even.
What does happen though is we end up going for a long period of time without making some of these repairs, and then suddenly we end up with a
Yeah,
bond for
that's the risk we're taking.
$500,000 to redo a whole section of the water treatment plant, which we could, be in less of a vulnerable position for if we be a little bit, more proactive on a regular basis.
And there was periods of years where the rates weren't increased for
That's true.
long.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think we've been more diligent every year to
Over
look
the
at
last
that.
probably
Yeah.
8 years or so, it's 10 years maybe, we've been progressive, proactive about doing it, not necessarily every year, but as much as we can. And this last year, like I said, the the utility increases and chemical costs.
Sure, everything's
increase.
going up.
I mean, considerable, and more than in the past.
And we can always,
Manufacturing costs.
and we can justify what we are trying to do just based on the activity. So, if we've had, things we had to do such as replacing hydrants, doing this, doing that, we can point to these capital projects and say, we're replacing a 50-year-old hydrant. You want us to wait until we have 6 of them going in one
Sure.
year?
All right, so let me propose that we offer a 5% rate increase for now for water, but let's hold that until we go through the sewer. All right. To tell you the truth, if sewer comes up as more needy than water, I'm not interested in doing both.
No,
So let's first see what's going on with sewer, and then we'll come back to it. So right now, let's leave it as it is,
Okay.
with no rate increase. We'll come back and look at it based on how the sewer story goes. Okay. So let's go over to sewer.
All right.
Now, the first thing is the insurance is the same issue as we discussed in water, right? So instead of the 71.25 you're showing, I'd like Karen to put 10% on the 28.31, which is what we paid this year. All right? Which will put a little over like 3,100, I guess.
Just make it 3,200.
3,200, okay, fine. Okay, Scott, go ahead.
All right, so we got the administration costs. Like I said, I did the 7%, so it was 6.5.
Yep.
On the operations and billing, I have the, as mentioned before, the annual I&I report
Mm-hmm.
in there. That had gone up this year. I had it at $3,600. I think this year it was a little less than that. So I increased that a little bit. Blackboard and census tech support, so very similar to the water with the exception of that work.
Okay.
And we got capital improvements.
So what's in there?
Sewer main line. I have I have 938 feet. Projected to do this year. We have a lot more than that total, but
And that's based on what? Just
the camera work we've been doing,
okay.
and the list has been continuously growing.
All right.
2 years ago, we started doing main lining. Last year, we did 480 feet behind your house.
Behind the house, yeah. Okay.
This year, we've got. I'm just trying to. I got so many different sections, so I try to take the worst ones. Actually, right behind Village Hall is a pretty rough spot. Then I got water treating over on Maple, so I'd like to get that done as well.
Okay.
So we can play with that depending on when the numbers come out.
All right, sure.
So then after that, I got the contractual stuff. Yeah. So we got alarm company, security, DEC permit, which is annual, garbage removal, which is Welsh, fire extinguishers, and diamond maps.
Okay.
And next, we've got sludge hauling.
So you show a big increase in that.
Yeah, so Royal has been hauling our dry sludge for the last 15 or 18 years. So as of December, they no longer do that. They had problems with Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency where they take it in faults. They're not accepting it anymore. So Royal said, we can't do that for you anymore. So now I gotta go find another hauler. Called 2 places in Jersey, and it's gonna, because of the distance, it's gonna cost me considerably more to get rid of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And been talking to them about it, and they're having a hard time getting rid of it. It's getting harder and harder, so it's becoming a royal king.
Huh.
So
All right.
that increased.
Is this a common problem in other municipalities?
It's in Yeah,
I-
we went up to like 65,000 in Rhinebeck
And that-
from
I
like,
mean, Royal has done great for us. It kept our costs down. You know, they're local. Their costs were a lot less than what I found in 2 places already. And they're only transporting the new poles. You know, and they pick it up at 10 in the morning and back by 2:30 in the afternoon.
All right.
So, unfortunately, that's going to go up. Plus, the liquid hauling has gone up. It had been roughly 14 cents a gallon for as long as I can remember, and now it's up to 18 cents a
Oh,
gallon.
really? Okay.
So, unfortunately, those costs have gone up considerably. Now, the dry is projected. I've only got one estimate so far. I've been working with Earth Care and getting another one. And again, something we'll have to work. Trying to cut that back is hard. You know, it's like telling someone you can't go to the bathroom. So, sorry. But, yeah, so, you know, a lot of, you see that, we could cut the dry out and go all liquid, but I think the numbers come out only slightly less than that.
Is that right? Okay.
But the problem with that is I still have the filter beds until we ever do something down the sewer plant, so I gotta haul out dry at some point.
Mhm.
If we got rid of the filter beds in the future, we can get rid of the drying beds and go to just liquid hauling, which you could get umpteen people to take.
Is that right?
So,
Okay.
but again, that's down the road, because I still have the filter beds, you know, we gotta use them. So I have to get rid of that, someone I can't stockpile it, not allowed to. So, gotta get rid of it somehow.
So the dyno filter would be a way to eliminate the filter beds?
That's the goal, yeah.
That's the way, huh?
Do you have any idea at this point what we have the dyna filters right now? We have to install them and we have to do major work in the beds themselves, I'm assuming, to
Yeah, to
get it all
building
to work.
and-
Yeah, but is that like an outrageous number, it's like close to $1 something?
I mean, I'm more top for an engineer, but if I had a venture guess, it's probably well over $250,000.
Is that right?
All that work, because the filter we have down there, it's been sitting there for like 6 years. It's got to be completely refurbished and
Mhm.
replumbed,
Reloaded.
electronics. You have to buy all the controls. There's no controls with it.
Oh, is that right?
Correct.
Oh,
So that's all got to be done. You basically got a big metal container sitting there.
Well, my long-range thought is that we're looking at a $7 million project when you put that and everything else into the sewer treatment plant at once. And since we've been unable to get financing at this point and some kind of a grant from we and different sources we can get grants from, if we have to go to a long-range plan over 7 to 10 years and take the
Let's
sewer
do it by
treatment,
phases.
do it by phases. We do the sump pump project this year, if we do the dyna filters the next year, and we try to break this down, even if it means separate vans or separate bonds or whatever, then, you know, we can go ahead and at least be working on something as opposed to the 10 years it took us to get the water treatment plant finally done, because we spent almost 5 years just trying to arrange grants and financing to do it all at once. So that's,
And that may be a conversation we want to have.
We started the conversation.
Engineers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as
piecemeal and kind of, yeah, doing
I mean,
something.
it sounds like a great plan to me. But,
Yeah, okay.
technical wise, that would be up to
Yeah,
how,
okay.
So
which comes
Tim-
first and which.
if you get the grant for the pump station and you keep the 250 in the sewer, I wonder if you can reallocate that bond that
I
we
don't see
just
why you
got
can't do that.
for another
If we
project.
keep it within the G fund, yeah,
Yeah,
that should not be a
we
problem.
could check, we could just check with,
Yeah,
I guess the bank, they issued the bond, but if we can reallocate that and keep it within the sewer fund, then, I mean, we could still keep.
so the way it goes is these applications we made are reimbursement grants, so we have to pay the money up front with what we got from the bond. But we'll get reimbursed probably in 2024 sometime. All right. So that money's not gonna be sitting there.
So when we get reimbursed.
Yeah, when you get
we can start
reimbursed, we can
working
reallocate.
on
Yeah,
another
we
project.
can talk about that, yeah. That's like a next year discussion, right? Okay, fine.
What was it?
Utilities,
Utilities. That's pretty straightforward.
Right.
Electric and
things are going up, yeah.
telephone. Heating, fuel. Kept that the same because right now we're at almost 1,100.
Yeah,
We still got a couple more months, so
all right,
it
fine.
might end up being slightly less. But again, those costs probably they did go up. They'll probably go up again.
Mhm.
So I kept that the same because there's $500 in there for our generator fuel as well,
Oh, is that right? Okay.
which we haven't filled the tank this year either. It's like the water plant, but at some point we're going to have to. So I keep that in there.
Sure.
Chemicals, again, those go up. We got soda ash for pH control, chlorine for disinfection, sodium thiosulfate to take the chlorine out before it goes to the stream. Like the water, I keep track of how much we use per month actually, and over the year. So it's pretty. And again, I take an average over like 3 or 4 years to
All right.
come up with the numbers. Laboratory testing. I took that down a little bit again because the costs of the new lab costs are a little bit less than the last lab. Equipment, parts, similar to the water. As you can see, I haven't spent much because again I found that I had repair parts listed in equipment and supply line, so I have the repair parts with the repair.
Okay,
each
moving
year,
over.
so that's why
Okay,
the
fine.
numbers
Okay.
are trying to fine tune this.
Mhm.
And then on the repairs and maintenance, we have repairs and the generator, also the servicing of the generator twice a year is in
Okay.
there. Yeah, so that.
So those aren't reserves. That's the actual payment on the
No, they
$250,000 bond,
That
right?
was just,
I believe I put the schedule.
okay.
Yes.
So this was the $400,000 bond we had. 150 went to the retaining wall. That's the EA fund.
Right.
250 went to the sewer. So it's a 10-year bond. Why wouldn't that be 25,000 as the principal?
I don't know about that.
How long have you been using?
It's a 10-year bond.
Is that the principal, 21807?
Yeah, that's what I said.
And what's the interest rate? All right, that's 21850.
Oh, I'm sorry. 75.
Right?
All right.
And then the interest ought to be 3% on 250 is 7,500.
Right.
Right.
That's what we got.
Okay, good. So those numbers have changed.
So we have what for the,
So the debt service is 25,000, and then the interest is 7,500. I'm guessing.
Correct, yes.
Okay. And then you're showing a reserve of 10,000.
We'll start with that.
Yeah, I'll start there. Okay, I can show the total. What's the total now that you get with the new numbers?
413,630. 413,630.
All right, so talk to us about revenue.
Okay, so similar to the water, we just took the average for the last 2 months, given the billings that we received so far.
Mm-hmm.
The special assessment, we're making the assumption that that's not going to change, so we
Okay.
kept that number the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we're plugging in the 314,325 sewer charges, and we brought in 500. We budgeted 1,000. We can maybe keep that at 1,000. Interest and penalty, again, this I think we can probably go up to 2,500. Interest earnings, a little bit more. And again, when we come down to New York class, now this one,
Yeah, you should bet, Jake.
I guess it kind of depends how long, is that money gonna sit there? Are we gonna wait to see if we get the grant? Because if that money sits there, we could probably put this up to like 5,000 or 6,000.
So I think that, I would say half of it probably be used this year, with the generators. The pump's gonna come in, right?
The pump station you're talking about?
Yeah,
I believe that they're talking like 12 to 18 weeks.
yeah, okay, so that's this year.
Okay,
So yeah, it should be.
And then the generator won't be till next year. So I would say we assume half of it's gonna be sitting there.
okay, so maybe 4,000, I think.
Okay. So what's that give you a total for revenue?
So total for revenue is 380,762. So we're looking at 32,000.
About 33,000, right?
32,868, yes.
So we did a rate increase in March of 2021 for sewer from $7.75 to $9 per gallon or per thousand
So $7.75 to $9.
to $9. Yeah, and that goes with village and town. There's no difference.
So 16% increase.
And then for water, we did we went from $6.75 to $7.25 for village, and then for town we went from $10 to $10.50.
And what was that?
That was April of 2022.
Okay, so that's a 7% increase in water, was last year, and a 16% in sewer the year before. And to close the budget here without any expense changes, we need a 9% increase in the sewer rate to give us the $33,000 that we're short, right?
Right. We can start with taking out the transfer to capital A. I hate to do that, but
Yeah.
I mean,
We could, you want to, like I said earlier with the capital improvements with the sewer main line, we can take some of that out.
The sewer mainlining,
Like I said, I had 900,
938 you said.
938. I went down to 758. I took the two, what I consider the two worst of the three that I had listed. That would, so from 60,970, that would be down to 49,270. Of course, that's projected. It could come in like we did last year. It came in less than my budget.
So that's you could take it down 10,000, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
which one is that?
The
Steph?
Capital fund.
The capital improvement, sewer mainlining, you drop it from 60,970 down to 49,270. You could do that.
Yeah, we use 700, and how many feet would you be doing?
758.
You get it, mate.
I don't know where costs are with that, but
Yeah, right.
the more you do, the less cost per foot. So,
Okay.
like last year, I think I had it pegged at 43,000 for the 482 feet, and it came in at, I think, 28,
Oh, is that right?
something like that.
Okay.
So, but again, I want to play.
Yeah, sure.
So I had basically I had it priced out at $65 a foot. Last year I did $75. And then what they did this year, I think came in actually, I think it equated to like $55.
Okay.
Just trying to.
So, Karen, if you changed his, then
Then we have 11,168 difference.
what would that translate to an increase? To go from a
11,168, you said?
Correct.
9% increase, we would be a what?
I think Tim's working on it.
It's like a 3% increase.
Which is less than the CPI.
Yeah.
So,
It'd even be kind of good if you wanted, not now, because we're right in it doing it, but to maybe take the next, and not during the budget, but take the next 3 years and kind of project it and project out, what percentage, then you know where you're going with what percentage you can increase your budget. And we would have kind of a plan that we could send out to the public and say, over the next 3 years, this is what it's gonna be. So it's not like we're just doing it and kind of surprising people.
Yeah. It's hard to do that, right?
I know,
And it's an estimate that you would simply, you have to refine it every year anyway.
right.
I mean, we do have a public hearing prior to passing
Oh, yeah, sure.
the budget,
Yeah.
so
All right.
I mean, if you wanna cut more, we can cut it in half. Manhole repairs and stuff, if you want, we can trim that down, to take the repair line down.
What's good about that is
I mean, I have
that
a list.
it goes to.
I'd rather we increased water last year,
oh well,
we've gone doing it twice in
But
2 years. What about if we increase the sewer 5% this year?
I don't
What about that?
I don't remember last time.
I think that's more than reasonable considering we haven't done it. This would be 2 years since we did this, so
Yeah.
it's only 5%. You combine the increase in your CPI, you'll be up to close to 7 to 8% over those 2-year period. You're only asking for 5. So
Mhm.
Another option, and it's kind of saying the same thing you're saying, Mike, but Sarah and I were talking about the sewer benefit assessment and raising the sewer benefit assessment, which would also, the outside users pay a portion of that, so
That's true.
that
The
would,
non-village
that would
residents.
spread it
Yeah.
out, so it's not just village residents.
So what is the percent we charge? It's $50,000.
50,000. I was just looking last time we increased it. It's been a few years though.
I thought we increased that last year, I'm gonna say.
I think it's been a couple. I have to look on.
Yeah, okay. I know we've increased it once since we've been here.
Yeah,
It was $10,000 we raised. Maybe it
yeah.
was
I
the
went
first year.
from 40 to 50.
Maybe it was the first year.
It could have been the first year.
Okay.
It seems like
So the sewer benefit assessment, now that gives us, that'd be $10,000. We raise that
You
$10,000.
could raise it whatever you want.
Yeah, I know. What's the gap we're talking about here? We're at
11,000.
11,000.
11,168.
11,168. How'd that happen? Because of the change in the sewer mainlining, the capital improvement?
We took out 10,000 out of the transfer to capital projects
Yeah,
and
we-
10,000 out of the sewer capital.
Right.
All right, so that's an option to not raise the rate, but to increase the sewer benefit assessment, special benefit assessment. What do you think?
Well, I'm going on record being the bad guy here saying, I don't think it's smart to go 2-3 years without a rate increase.
Mm-hmm.
I think you go with a moderate rate increase and you do it either annually or every 2 years, as opposed to, doing it with a bigger shot all at once. I think it had too much of an impact on the village and the town budgets for the consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Except, did I understand you correctly by saying that you could spread the cost increases out, the expenses out a little further, so that everybody would be at less?
What you're saying is that when you increase the sewer benefit assessment, that goes across all users, including those outside the village. All right. So the special benefit assessment goes to the non-village users as well. It's a special line on our tax bills as village residents, but it goes on as a special rate to the others outside. Okay.
Right, and so everyone benefits from
Yeah.
the costs.
It's a concept that Delaware actually was suggesting we should be doing that for water as well, but I'm not into that right now. So we could do that. Well, what if we increase the sewer benefit assessment by 10,000 and increase the water rate by 5? I don't like that because we just increased water last year.
So we increased the SBA at the 2021-2022 budget.
2021, 22. Oh, so that was the first year.
That was
Okay.
that's
That was
when
2
we-
years ago. 2 years ago. All right, what do you think?
The net increase would be less per user because it's spread out further if we do it under
The
the
SBA?
specials.
Yeah.
Assessment, it just seems like a no-brainer.
Okay. Comments? Thoughts?
It's fine.
So we'll increase the SBA by $11,000 to call you.
11,168.
Okay, sure.
Well, it brings it to 69,955, so we could make that just 70,000.
What did you say? Last time I didn't hear you.
I said it comes out to 69,955, so we can just make it 70,000.
Okay.
It's easier for them to spread it out.
Let me ask you this. The SBA that we received this year, you told me this story before, tell me again. It's a $50,000 SBA. Why is there $58,000 that we accumulated?
because we bill the town separately.
Yeah.
So what we call for is what, like, so you say we want 50,000. That's
Yeah.
what we levy on.
Oh, okay, on the village.
So
tax-
that's
taxpayers.
on the letter.
I see.
So
the
that's
extra is what the non-village residents.
correct. That's what we bill
Right.
separately to the
Okay,
town.
fine.
Yeah.
Well, then there must be $168 there.
Ah,
Convenience fee. No.
All right, so we're okay with that? So should I make a motion to that?
so, Scott, where do you want your $45?
$45.
bro.
That
God.
we're gonna
Would you like
put.
me to just pay it?
Yeah, could you get anything on? We'll take
Big
cash.
check.
All right, we'll make it work.
So Sarah, do we need a motion to accept that change, or is that just part of the public hearing?
I feel like you should just do it at the public hearing.
Fine. Any issues with that?
Sounds like the most reasonable approach.
Yeah, okay. All right, fine. That closes then the sewer budget based on the numbers that we've given. So Scott, you did reduce the main line from 938 to 758. That was your one change.
Yeah, footage wise, what was the final cost?
Isn't it 49,270?
Was it 49,270, correct?
Yeah, right.
And then we took out the,
Took out the $10,000.
Do we take out the reserve of
We
10,000?
we did.
We did, so that's out. Okay.
and everything else,
Okay, here you go.
or wherever you take the 45. You can take out repairs, I
I
mean,
took it out of revenue.
Okay,
Or,
fine.
I reduced the revenue just to be safe, so.
All right.
So we got 391,930 for the budget for sewer,
300.
91,000.
and $930, and
Okay,
a
fine.
balance is with,
That equals also the revenue. Okay, fine.
right.
Okay, any more discussion about revenue, about sewer? Then I'm gonna go back to the water. So where are we with water? We had Scott take out from the capital improvement and from the repairs and maintenance in order to make it balance without a rate increase. Are we comfortable with leaving it that way?
Well, if you increased last year and you're not comfortable with increasing every year, so to speak, then then I guess you'll leave it, but I just think we have to keep in mind.
No, absolutely. That's why we look at it every year. I don't want to get in this like we did the first year where we had to increase sewer 16% because we hadn't raised it for years.
Exactly.
That's why going through it every year I think is a good exercise. And we don't have to do it at big jumps. We can do it as we need it.
you said 5% was the 36 cents per thousand? Is that what you said was 5%?
Yeah, there should be 5%. Yeah.
Unless you want to do 3%.
But that just gives you 10,000 back in your
Right,
expenses.
3% is 10,000, yeah.
So, is
Well,
that
he's just trying to.
Well, I mean, if you're worried about,
the percentage?
percentage, sort of split the difference.
Mhm.
Instead of 5% to 3%. And you still, you still be able to get some more work done,
Mhm.
but you're not going all in with the rating.
3% would be the 10,000. How much did we take out of your capital improvement? We took out 17,000.
17,
Yeah.
And then we took out
13.
It took 12 out, or took 11 out of the repairs and maintenance. Okay.
Yeah, I would put it back in your, repairs and maintenance and make that 51, it's the 10,000.
Why can't we put it in capital improvement, and then if he finds he's got more water main breaks than he expected, he can move that money from there from capital improvement
Here's something
down?
else that we should do. And if Washington Ave is going to be put up, but Washington Avenue and Reservoir Drive have their curb valves on the road. So you got sidewalk and you got the road, and the curb valves are in the road part of this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So if we're going to pave either one or any of them, my plan would be to get those and put them on the opposite side of the sidewalks. Right? So,
Huh.
And one of them was done this year on Washington because they had a problem.
Oh, okay.
But I know of several others.
Hmm.
And I know Reservoir is the same way, but only on one side of the road. That's something that I'd be looking to do,
Okay.
which would be under, repairs.
Mhm.
So you could, if you want to put more, instead of putting it all in capital improvements, you want to split the difference, put half and half.
Mhm. All right, so what do y'all think about 3% water rate increase? That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I'm in favor of that approach to, to no increase and then going with a bigger increase next year, which you're probably gonna have to do. To me, it just makes more sense. We went for a long time with saying, well, we can not so much put that off, but we'll be fine, let's keep it where it is, and then it ended up getting kicked in the butt because we suddenly had these expenses we weren't expecting, and I'm not looking to pad the budget with a lot of waste, but we have needs, and we kind of put them off for a long time. So,
And we're committed to make sure we always keep the water standalone, the sewer standalone, so it doesn't affect the general fund.
exactly.
So I'll make sure there is something in there, like you use the word buffer, to make sure we're not cutting ourselves off.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a contingency line in
Right.
the water and sewer, which we're supposed to have in
We could put
almost
one
any
in there.
budget. But if you're not gonna put a contingency line, you should put it
Not
in.
now.
Not now.
Someday when we're got money we don't know what to do with, we can do that. Not now.
But if you anticipated $52,682 with, justified repairs that are things that he wanted to put in, then, that he anticipates putting in, go with that.
I think one way to look at it is he's been very lucky this year. To be lucky 2 years in a row is really pressing our luck, and I think that's why we ought to be very careful about cutting money down of that thing, of that category.
Again, because that's the unpredictable thing. You don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen.
I would propose a 3% rate increase in the water.
I'll second.
What do you think?
Yes.
I'm just proposing, there's no resolution, or just talking. You guys okay with that?
My experience, Scott has been pretty conservative,
Yeah, very diligent, right?
and so if he's gonna spend it, then I think we have to do it.
I also believe in fixing, upgrading,
Especially
the infrastructure.
if you're doing work beforehand,
Yeah,
Try to-
right.
You're not cutting into a new road,
Right.
you know?
I try to work
Your
with Bob on
sidewalks.
all that and try to get as much
Yeah, right.
Done
Yeah.
before,
That's right.
before.
and not to talk about something totally different, but as you alluded to in an email with the lead service line stuff,
Yeah.
that's going to be an added cost to the village. I have 619 service connections.
So there's a new rule coming down by when, 2024 or 2025?
October 2024.
Okay. You have to go and survey all of the lines in the village?
Yeah.
Determine if there's lead. This is
Yeah,
Yeah.
if the lines have lead in them, right?
So, I'm pretty confident that there isn't any in town, but I can't, they're not gonna say, oh yeah, okay, you don't think so?
Sure.
You know, so, just based on my experience, but, yeah.
The survey is based on just,
So basically what,
reviewing, or do you actually do testing?
well, what a lot of, you have to determine what the service line is from the road to the curb out, from the curb out to the house. So, best way to do that, what's been done in other places is they make up the curb out and look at the rest. So, I don't think you're gonna get 619 curb valves dug and looked at in 2 years, but, you can't do nothing.
Yeah,
You know, so, I got the ones down in Franklin, you do Reservoir, there's some there, I've already done, I think I've got 81 already in there, ones I've done,
So is that right?
took
Okay.
pictures of. And certain ones like say Alden Terrace, which was put in 1987, you can, I have it in there because the lead ban came out in 86.
That's the real name.
Right.
All right, good.
Millbrook Manor, Alden Acres was 89.
All right.
So stuff like that, you know,
And
record
for
based, you
town.
can,
So again, there's 619 lines you're aware of in the village, that's what you know?
yeah, I went through the entire meter list.
You've looked at about 100 so far.
Yeah, because what they don't want meters, because we have 780 something meter counts, but they want service connections. So you got some that, there's a building that has 6 apartments in it.
Oh, okay, fine.
Or like Bennett Common condos, there's 1 meter for, you know, all, there's probably, we call them 2 buildings, but multiple condos
So
in
that,
each
that was
building.
about that 2.5.
So there's,
Yeah.
that would be 1 connection,
Okay.
1 building that has 8 apartments, which would be, you know, so, that's why it came out to 600.
All right, fine. All right, so we're agreeing here then to have a water rate increase of 3%
So 3% brings it to 747.
from 725.
Yeah, and 3.5 is like 750.
Brings it to 7.50.
So just make it 750.
I think 750 makes more sense. And then for town, it would be 1086.
10 goes to 1086.
1050
Oh, 1050.
goes to 1086.
All right. Any problem with that?
So where do you want me to put that?
Scott?
What was that?
So we're adding this 3.5%.
11,810. Where would you like me to put it?
Where, what, in repair maintenance versus capital improvement do you want to put it? Split it?
Yeah. We did,
Can't move it around.
I'm sorry?
I wish.
Could we move it? Like out of
Yeah,
capital
you can,
improvement to.
Yeah, if he's in the middle of
It
a
doesn't-
major water
Yeah.
break
Doesn't
kind of
matter.
thing, he
You
can
can
cut
always
back on his
move it
capital
out.
improvement.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, our risk there, Pat, is if, let's say, he orders the fire plugs already, and then he has a water main.
Yeah,
break,
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but as he's going through the year, he can make the appropriate trade-offs.
Yeah, so I'll just split it. So we did the-
Split it, okay?
But again, I don't know what the cost of the hydrants is gonna be this year.
What will that give you back?
Gives him back about, what, 11,000? 12,000?
$11,810.
So
Oh, you're just
12,000
gonna
is back.
split it?
Yeah, I will. I'll split it.
So what's the final total?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Let me do
Take your
repairs.
time.
Yeah, I want to put down the numbers for the 2 lines to the capital improvement repairs. Have a number for that.
Look, they'll send out tomorrow the actual spreadsheet,
Okay.
which you can check your numbers there. All right, so don't worry about that.
Okay.
Great, beautiful. Okay, so, after splitting it, Scott, it brings the capital, improvement to $55,043.
Okay.
And repair and maintenance to $47,725, giving the total budget of $352,910 in matching revenue with the 3.5%.
Okay. What did you assume for the band interest payments? You up those?
Oh, we don't have those for the water.
Yeah,
We'll have to get those.
okay, fine. Alrighty, anything else to discuss? We've got we've completed both water and sewer now, right? Let's just go to the public hearing, the discussion there. Think about that, if you guys come back with any reasons why 3.5% increase in the water or $11,000 increase in the sewer SBA is no good, let me know. Otherwise, that'll be the plan going forward. All right? Any other topics to discuss?
I asked him for it.
Okay.
So, we're ready to wrap up the meeting?
We're ready. We just are going to follow up with the Bank of Millbrook on the
Good.
interest rate.
And we'll talk about what happens there. All right, so the next meeting is next Wednesday, 6 o'clock, same place. We're going to be talking about police and highway. At that meeting, all right? Okay, I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all very much.